and then she said, "That monkey was not mine."
That monkey's not mine. That monkey's not mine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
We're live now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, we're live.
Well, all right. We're live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show. We bring together some of the best content creators from the Web3 community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today, but more importantly, we have an amazing group of guests. First and foremost, we have CryptoStache in the house. How's it going tonight, CryptoStache?
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Okay.
That's all we
Okay,
got.
so
Huzzah!
Now
I
I
went to
know
the
I
Ren Fair.
need to follow.
I went to the Renaissance Fair this weekend, and
yeah.
I had a lot of fun. Took some great footage. I got some up there already. But here's one of the best things that I got from the Renaissance Fair, and please forgive me.
Oh, the battle. Headphone warning. Headphone warning for all you headphone users out there.
Jeez, well, we should have all just done that.
quite
Like,
get that.
summoned. Okay, we're here. You've
Low
summoned
volume,
the
please.
crew.
Stash has summoned all of our other great guests tonight, and for the first time in a while, actually, I think we have all brand new people coming on Around the Metaverse tonight.
Wow, you're right.
So,
Hello.
yeah,
Fresh
first up,
faces.
we got No ACLs, YGG Ambassador and Waypoint Gaming Creator. How's it going, No
Hey.
ACLs?
It's going well. It's going well. Happy to be here. It's a pleasure. Huge fan of Stash. Love the show. Yeah, can't wait to get it cooking here with you guys.
And yeah, for the audience out there watching, can you give us a hint as to what what's up with your name?
No ACL. Tell him.
Yeah, for sure. There's a little bit of a tale to the name there that I decided to roll with a few years back. But years ago, I used to compete. I was a soccer player. During my journey, I ended up tearing both of my ACLs. Like I recovered, I went back, recovered, and finally threw in the towel. But yeah, during the recovery, I decided to make a new gamer tag. It was No ACLs. I thought it would be funny, and here we are today.
Guys, he was playing no ACLs, man. Tell us the truth, man. You were playing Skyrim and you took an arrow to the knee. You took an arrow to both knees.
Oh man,
That's
I
rough.
wish, honestly, I wish it was that.
Yeah,
legendary.
that might be a better story. Like, man, I took 2 arrows to each knee.
But
Just go with that one
next-
from now on.
Next up, man, we got Yellow Panther, Web3 gaming content creator, associated with TreasureDAO, MetasportsGG, and a partner and marketing lead at Tales of Valyria. How's it going, Yellow Panther?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I'm finally here. And dude, No ACL has some crazy shades, dude. And do you always put that on? I really want to ask that.
Yeah. Actually,
like
I'm out here in the north in Canada, so we got a lot of snow and bright whiteouts out there. So it's nice to have the right shades,
Yeah,
That's
you gotta have that
crazy.
eye protection, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And then last, but certainly not least, another new face to the show. We've got Rex, host of Playconomy and creator with Get Owned, WolvesDAO, TreasureDAO, and also Waypoint Gaming. How's it going, Rex? Good to have you on.
It's going all right. Yeah, I like to spend about half my time playing games, and then the other half of the time working with brands on things. But they haven't given me any really cool sunshades yet, or whiteout shades. So maybe one of these days we will get.
If you're a brand and you work on things, hit up Rex. Hit up Rex.
Yeah. I have a whole pitch, but it's
That was
way
pretty
too
good,
long.
though.
We're
I
talking
think
about
that's
fun things.
we gave you the seal of approval right now. Everyone's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
we're gonna hit him up now.
Yeah.
But
I got the one-liners, so there we go. That's all that matters.
thank you all for hopping on the show tonight. It's great to have you here. And for those of you watching, thanks for coming too. Before we jump into things, don't forget to hit that like button and smash subscribe if you haven't already. But after you do that, we're about to dive into a bunch of these crazy topics. Some interesting things have been happening in both the Web 2 and the Web 3 worlds over the past couple of weeks. We've got a couple of stories to talk about. So first up, we are going to be taking a look at will Web3 MMOs work, and kind of a little bit of a discussion, particularly about Gala Games Mirandus, which is opening their one of their bigger play tests for the game today to show off a bunch of the new updates that they've done for it. Stash actually got a chance to take a look at that last week. So check out some of the content that's coming out now, but make sure you check out the content from last week as well.
Also, check out some of my content because I also got access last week, and I was one of the fine folks that put one of the 372 arrows into Stash's eye while we were playing, that was really fun.
Yeah,
Yellow Panther also got the same treatment. So.
Stash is the one that took an arrow to the knee and like 300, and actually 300. If you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go check out that video.
Check out the content.
But no, we're going to be talking about will Web3 MMOs work in a bit on Mirandus, and then we're also going to be talking about we don't talk too much about Web2 games on here, but today we are going to be talking about Web2 games with the new Zelda game, the user-generated content, and TTP. If y'all out there know what that is, coming to that game, and how in a larger conversation how user-generated content will work in the Web3 world, and some of the unique, cool things we might be able to evolve user-generated content with, with the types of technology that we talk about here on the show all the time. But let's dive right into things. Will Web3 MMOs work? For those of you out here who have played Mirandus, who are getting involved in it right now, drop in the comments what you think of the game so far. But I want to get your guys' opinions on for everyone who played.
Can we see those comments somewhere? I didn't check before we jumped on the stream. Do I have to log on to YouTube?
Yep, yes you do.
YouTube.com?
You gotta pull it up on. You gotta get your second monitor ready, man.
All right, here we go. Pulling it up. All right.
But Stash, let me ask you first, man. I know you had a great time last week with all of the Gala Games folks and some of our other creator friends using you as a pin cushion and creating a new, a little new mini game in Mirandus. But I mean, overall, Mirandus, I think is we've talked about this before. It's a pretty big bite for Gala Games to be working on, to be chewing on here.
Yeah.
And as all MMOs are, I mean, we see a litany of problems with things like the economy and how players are actually acting in the game, maybe against the terms of service or whatever it is with MMOs. I mean, do you think that Web3 MMOs are going to work, or are they too complicated to involve real monetary value in the game as a basic function?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think that an MMO is the perfect situation for injecting Web3 and NFTs, blockchain technology into a game. When you look at all of the benefits that this technology can provide to a gamer and to the devs, MMOs really take advantage of every single one of those aspects, right? So I think that, we see, a lot of trading like going on with things like CSGO, and you see a lot of big ticket items like, oh my gosh, this skin went for $100,000. But in that same time, thousands and thousands of people have spent $1,000 on MMO items, and it way far eclipses this. So I mean, in general, I think that what we want to do with NFTs in gaming, that an MMO really just supports that, right? We already see money in MMOs. I mean, there are already tons and tons of situations and examples out there. WoW being one of the classic ones, no pun intended, but being one of the classic ones, and people are in there and you can make money. Now it's not part of the game, but it is still part of the game. And I think NFTs and Web3 can really just make it an official part, and a part that is easier to regulate, easier to monitor, easier to track, and easier to authenticate that those things are real and they're not duped items or forged in some sort of way that would negatively affect the game, because we see that a lot in these economies. So I actually really do think that Web3 tech can help MMOs significantly, and Mirandus is going to be a really good example, as we do see some other MMOs out there. I know Arc World is working on some stuff, and Tales of Laria, and there's a couple other ones that are doing it. But MMOs are very hard to create, takes a long time, and by the time Mirandus and the ones really get to a solid spot, I mean, are they going to be good enough and polished enough to attract the amount of people that we would need to keep this MMO going? And that's always my biggest fear, is that these MMOs, you have to attract tons of people. Otherwise, if you don't, the world feels dead and no one wants to stay very long. I know, because I play almost every freaking MMO that has ever launched. And there's ones where I'm like, okay, great, I'll play for a week, and I'm like, I hate this, and I'm done, and for whatever reason. But what will definitely keep me there is that there's people there. If there's nobody there and it's dead, I'm like, why am I here? There's no mass multi online anything in this game. And that's what I'm afraid of when it comes to these smaller budget MMOs. I really want to see them succeed because I do really feel that NFT and Web3 technology are just a perfect match for them. But it's gonna be hard to...
and you just reminded me of something too. I almost completely forgot. I think in World of Warcraft, I believe you can like make it within the terms of service make actual money. I mean, you can make tons of money in most MMOs outside the terms of service by doing various black market things like selling your account, trading, duping weapons, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But within the terms of service, they actually they introduced the WoW token a while back, and I believe if you farm enough gold in game doing whatever it might be,
you can pay for like new months of the service, or I think even maybe other games. I don't know.
Well, so you can I think you can sell your WoW token or trade it for Blizzard dollars, which you can then spend on like other games or items in their within their marketplace.
Yeah, well, it's a closed loop economy, though. I mean, I think that's the main difference, really, right? And that's why people want to go outside of those things, and they say, "Oh, that's great, you offer that, but we want the money, man. Show us the money. I need the ducats. I'm not trying to get Blizzard dollars, Blizz dollars. I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't need any of that crap. That's just as bad as Steam dollars.
But if they made a token, though. Yeah, if they made a token, you buying. Like, let's not,
crypto
let's
token?
I'd buy it, flip it, and dump it.
Buy it, flip it, and dump it.
It just make it the new meme. No, I think that's right. I think that think about the one thing that all the MMOs today that are building in Web3 have to think about how many people are actually playing all of the Web3 games that are getting built. And now think about how many players are playing like one game. If you are looking for this like truly social multi-player experience, there is a lot of growth that just has to happen in Web3 for gamers in general before we can even potentially see like the next breakout MMO. Maybe someone's building like the game loop that beats WoW, but you have to beat WoW in order to draw people in from the Web2 space right now. And there's so little Web3 gamers. You just have to keep that into account as you're building these types of games, I think.
Well, Rex, let me ask you this, man. I mean, like in terms of Mirandus, where would you say that they rank among the Web3 game or Web3 MMOs that exist today? I mean, there's actually more. There's more than I thought. There's actually quite a few.
They're all
they're all building, and so that's the thing too, is that they're all competing for this very tiny portion. Like if you think about, there's gamers, and then there's Web3 gamers, and then there's like MMO gamers. Like the circles continuously get smaller. You have to dip into. But where's Mirandus? I mean, granted, we got access to a very early stage. They made sure that like we know that it's not even an alpha and it's not even a beta. And I was playing a little bit earlier today, and so this is like technically a tech test. So it's the core game loop is very straightforward, right? It's go out, collect things, kill some baddies, don't die, make stronger things, and then go out and kill more things, right? And so it's a very easy game loop, but I do think that they layered in a couple elements that were pretty interesting in comparison to a lot of the other MMOs that I've at least played, which was like there is a real cost to death in the game, which made it a bit sweatier than if I could just go pick up like all of my loot that I dropped before, if I just go find my body. And so like whenever you die, and so this the piece of content that you need to check out that I put together is the fastest way to get started in Mirandus, and that is because I died so many times. I really like figured out the speed run on how to get like up and running again, because you die so often. You lose everything when you die, and so like that was pretty compelling. Yeah, I really love that, especially if you're thinking about this game that is going to have this like Web3 economy built in. The fact that if you are dying, you could lose that, and if there's an element of where these like NFTs or tokens or whatever are burned as a part of that. I don't know if that's the case, but like that becomes a weirdly sustainable thing inside this economy if characters are constantly just losing a lot of the like the funds and stuff that they're putting into it. So it could be interesting. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know. Well, so, and I don't know if you played in the even like I don't know, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, there was another play test that they did where it was significantly different in this version than it was in the last version. To give Gala some credit, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. But when like you said, all of these MMOs are fighting for the same group of people, particularly like if Web3 wants to break into the mainstream, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're fighting against all of the big titles too. So Yellow Panther, man, I mean, let me get your opinion on this. I mean, like, what do you think of all of the Web3 MMOs? Like, is the most promising if it isn't Mirandus? And like, where would you say they would rank up against like the WoWs of the world, the RuneScapes, the Genshin Impacts? You know, those games that have been running and going for a long ass time.
Right. I'm not sure if you guys played a playtest of Grand Saga Unlimited, I think 2 months ago. That game is by a Korean company. And I don't know, that game is really amazing because it's by one of the biggest Web2 gaming studios in Korea. And they're able to bring their current existing users and players from Web2 into Web3. But that version that we played was solely Web2, right? They haven't implement anything blockchain and stuff like that. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, have you guys played that game before?
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't get a chance to test that one. I remember seeing something about that too, but no, I wasn't in the playtest for that.
Yeah, I
That
got
one,
access,
yeah,
but I
it's
didn't get a chance.
yeah,
It looked great.
it's
Yeah, I
one of
checked it
the
out for a
better
bit, YP.
MMOs.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's one of yeah, it's one of the better MMOs out there, and it's
What
definitely
I'm curious, what makes it better? I'm curious, like what your take is on better, just out of curiosity.
okay. So
I want to peel back the Yellow Panther onion, the
are
layers
we
of
like
YP.
comparing it to like current
Yeah.
MMOs in Web2, right? So
Well, no,
that's
just like in general. Yeah.
yeah, so exactly. So there's a few things, very smooth gameplay, already well developed, and the storylines and the open world concept, it's already there. It feels like a Web2 game already.
Wow.
If they didn't tell me it was a Web3 game, I would have never known. And the fact that they are already so far ahead of so many other games. But I think currently there's like Arc World and stuff like that that are already playable as well.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that this game is unique in the sense that it's not a Genshin Impact. It's something fresh, something new that I haven't played before, haven't seen in the market. It has a very good open world concept. Um and the missions, the characters, the bosses, that's what makes it different. Yeah, that's what makes it different. So comparing, if I were to compare Miranda's, we cannot compare because right now it's so early in development. It's
Mm-hmm.
a tech
Tech
test,
test. Yeah.
not even a pre-alpha. So but I truly see a potential like Rex, what Rex brought up. It's very interesting because death is a true consequences, right? So it reminds me of RuneScape PvP, where when you die you really lose everything, right? So you
Yeah.
have to go prepared. If
Mhm.
not, you have to start over.
I think in the new RuneScape too, that well, old school RuneScape, they kept everything nice and nostalgic and sweaty, right? Right,
You're right.
sweaty. But I think in the new one, it's like if you die, you can like pay the Grim Reaper to get your stuff back or something like that. Which, you know,
Yeah.
I'm if I'm playing RuneScape, I'm playing the old school version. That's for sure.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
for sure.
They made it easy now.
Yeah, well, yeah, no way salesman. Let me ask you about this. I mean, so of like of all of the Web3 MMOs out there, I mean, what do you think their biggest like roadblock is? I mean, in trying to break out and capture non Web3 people to come and play, like what do you see being the biggest challenge for games like Mirandus, games like Mist Metaverse, I mean, games like Star Atlas, you know, what do you think they're gonna just struggle with the most?
Yeah, for sure. The biggest mention there is Star Atlas. Like from that list in the current stage, that's the only one that you mentioned that I think would even have a chance at competing, but it's still too early. Like I fully agree with Stash and like, YP make a lot of good points. Like these games are fun. Like Mirandus looks okay. Like it's a skeleton of the game, right? So we've got a long way to go to see what that really looks like. Guild of Guardians looks pretty cool too, like the whole mobile aspect.
Mhm.
And like Illuvium looks great as well. Like that's still like in the current stage, it's like a skeleton of the game. So competing with like Web 2 and the mainstream games, it's impossible right now. Like they really need to solidify their game, like build a player base. Like I think that's the biggest barrier above all. Like the tech is there, the games are getting better, like the graphics are getting better, like the experiences are becoming more fun. Overall, the games are a lot more polished, and you have people building high quality games right now, but there's just not enough players. So until we hit that point where there's a solid product, like maybe Illuvium, gets into its official release, or Star Atlas, or some of these like high quality mobile MMOs here, like Mirandus and Guild of Guardians, like when they have a full game, then we can see like what level they're at in comparison with Web 2. But it's going to be time. I think creative storytelling is a big factor. So like unique characters and yeah, just generally different experiences than what you see in the traditional Web 2 game. That will help. And yeah, we just need players, man. Honestly, the games need to be high quality. They need to be finished. They need to be good to go. And we need players. And we'll see where we're at.
So yeah, devs keep working, and we'll keep
Keep
having
trying. We're just gonna keep trying hurting you guys' way. Let's
we'll-
go.
we'll have this show. We'll keep having this show every Monday until Mirandus is on like on Steam or whatever, beating out World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think the story element too is so important, right? You want to feel for these characters that you're building, that you're jumping in, right?
Yeah.
And think about all the cosplay that's built out of just Warcraft alone. Like, imagine if any of these Web3 games had that cosplay community on top of what they're doing already. I mean, for Mirandus, it would kind of be like the Lara Croft, like pixelated, like whatever. But
Blocky boobies.
yeah,
Was
but
there,
like
Just
yeah,
arrows?
yeah.
Or just mini
Was there
arrows?
Just all of the eyes.
I don't know. We
Pretty
didn't get a
perfect.
chance to go to this year's, but I wonder if there was people cosplaying Mirandus characters at Galaverse the
I
like
mean-
previous couple years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If not, maybe I'll go and
Maybe.
I'll do the first one. So if there's at the next Galaverse, here it is, guys. At the next Galaverse, you guys are gonna be at Galaverse, and they do it in an approachable way. If it's not like overseas in Malta, I'm going to go and I'm going to do the first Miranda's cosplay, and it'll be me as a dwarf
As your
with
dwarf.
3,000 arrows stuck in me, just like we saw.
Bitbender,
Right? Like,
man,
that's
we got to make
Starting
that.
the- I'm starting the
Bitbender,
legends.
Jason
Yeah.
Bitbender, man, if you're watching this, we got to make it happen. We got to make it happen.
Yeah.
You were there in game, and we're gonna be there at Galaver's Stash. 300 arrows in him. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
No, but that's enough on this tonight, guys. We got to talk about another pretty interesting story going on in the Web 2 space about one of the most popular games that just released here and has been widely anticipated for some time now. The sequel to it was Breath of the Wild, which was the last one, right?
Yes.
And then the new Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
Get with it there. Come on, Adam.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Wait. What is the name? Is
Tears
it
of the
Zelda?
Kingdom,
The
yes.
Legend of Link?
No, I know what the name is. It's
Ocarina
the.
of Time. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's
Yeah,
I think it's Ocarina of Time.
We're bringing it
alright.
way back. All right, no.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about, in my opinion, I haven't played either of the new ones, but in my opinion, well, the new one or the previous one, Wind Waker is the best Zelda game ever made. I mean, in my opinion, but well, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one.
People are about to throw bows, I think, after that comment,
Dude,
but-
we okay.
It's a good game, though. It is a good game. I'll
It
give you
is,
that.
it is.
Game,
but
like, let's
no,
be
it's
honest.
not the
Most
best.
Zelda games are great. Yeah.
Everyone's favorite differs, but
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
good game.
Well, that's a topic for another conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
a topic for our lightning round, even though it's
Ocarina of
lightning
Time
round.
is
Ooh.
dope, man.
We're
Breath of the Wild is
talking
probably
about-
close second.
We're talking about the user-generated content that's happening in the new Legend of Zelda. Like in Breath of the Wild, there was a ton of creative ways to use Link's abilities to make your way through the game and, beat the game in a litany of different ways. You could basically be as creative as you want to figure out how to get to the next step, and that's no different in this game. But some of the new features, I think, are coming at a cost that the Nintendo didn't really foresee, and that's that there is the ability for users to create and build things, otherwise known as user-generated content in the game. I mean, this is the same as like having an insignia in Shrapnel or Call of Duty, or building in Minecraft. When you take it really back, all of Minecraft is user-generated content if you're building. But I want to ask you guys, well, and essentially what's been happening in Zelda is we're getting some inappropriate builds coming from people. So if you saw the thumbnail for the video, there's a big old member on that on that
big old member.
Yeah, he's
I
got
mean,
like
call
a
it what
card,
it
right?
is,
A
man. It's
membership
just-
card, right?
Yeah, call it what it is, man. It's a giant
Yeah.
wooden cock and balls.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, it gets even better, guys. I'm gonna link this in the stream here, but it gets better.
Yeah.
So you guys can see the full thing. But literally, Link shoots the cock and balls, and it lights on fire, and then
flaming
fire's
arrow,
coming out,
yeah.
and then the balls explode. It is actually truly, really an amazing
spectacle.
That is
It's a
content.
spectacle.
All right,
Some
we're
would
sitting
say
here
it's a work
making
of art.
content. I know.
It's the sexy Trojan horse, guys. It's
From
the
some
sexy Trojan
perspective.
horse.
I actually heard that was submitted to the MoMA, so you'll probably be seeing that in the Modern Art Museum very soon.
Nice.
Near you, yeah.
But no, I mean, among all games that have user-generated content, there is a common phrase that gamers know called TTP, which stands for time to penis, and essentially that's how long you can estimate that you can give users the tools to create something on their own. How long will it take from that being released until someone can find a way to make a
Yep.
penis?
This is legit. So this is something that actually I don't think a lot of people do know about, but like this is an old school thing, and if you were around like maybe the 90s for games and things like that, it's definitely a term that was used. I mean, you give people the freedom to do this, we're gonna draw dicks. I mean, it's just how it goes, man. We've been doing this since the dawn of time. It's never going to change.
I mean, I think one of the earliest cave drawings. Someone can look this up. One of the earliest cave drawings was like pornography. Like
It's a
hands
dude,
down,
yeah, it's a little
like,
stick dude,
yeah,
and these guys like, what's that in the middle? Well, whoa, he's really hung. You know? It's like-
Yeah, I guess it hasn't carried all the way from my Neanderthal ancestry to me, but here we are.
We haven't changed much as a species, guys. So
Yeah.
you would think you have, but we haven't changed all that much. But no, I want to get your guys' opinions on user-generated content, kind of in general, and in how it's being used in Zelda. No ACLs. Let me start with you, man. I mean, like, of all of the games that you've ever played that have had any kind of user-generated content, like, what are some of your favorite examples of games that use that, or anything like memorable, that like any funny sort of insignia that you might have done up in your time gaming?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I'll start with like a memorable gaming experience with this whole sandbox type of feature. That's what like I was first really introduced to it as, was like the sandbox experience. And we had like map generation tools, come into gaming early on with the original Xbox. I used to enjoy doing that kind of stuff in Halo, right? And the same like thing, TTP, like it occurred, man. You have the ability to create great maps and level experiences and really compete and have fun with it. You have people building the inappropriate for content, right? So UGC has always been a fun part of gaming. That's definitely the most memorable time, where I spent so much time in the sandbox creating things like outside of map architecture. Like you could actually create, let's say, maybe a statue of Charizard or whatever it may be, right? If you have the creativity and the time and the tools within that experience, you can have a lot of fun with it, right? So that would be the biggest one for me. But then like rolling throughout like the time of gaming, like Minecraft is definitely up there for UGC. Like the freedom you have in that game, the things that I have even seen my daughter build in Minecraft, it's insane. If you really put the time and effort in, that's a great open sandbox experience. And then now flash forward, like seeing this in a game like Zelda and even Fortnite. Like Fortnite's creative experience is getting really insane as well. The more tools you have, right? Like all that IP, there's so many different layouts you can use. But it's a fun aspect to the game. Too bad, we can't avoid the TTP scenario or whatever else crazy ideas users decide to put out there. But the important thing is we're having fun with it, and it's freedom of creativity in the gaming experience. And I love to see it like evolving the way it is, right? So yeah, GG's overall.
Fortnite is a big one, man. I almost forgot. Like, I mean, how could I forget the integration with Unreal Engine that they just did? I mean, people, like you said, have so much freedom. I mean, maybe not. I don't know what their TTP countermeasures are. Everyone has their own TTP countermeasures. I'm sure Fortnite's are pretty strict. But what you can do in
all
the
press
game
is
now
good
crazy.
press. So
No, that's
And
true. That's true.
I don't know if you guys have played or remember, but speaking of sandbox experiences like and user generated content, I mean, Gary's mod God, dude, the shit that used to come out of Gary's mod will forever like live in my memory, like childhood memory, man, of like the oh God, what's his name? Um, the dude who used to do the not Bill Nye, the dude who used to do the like the infomercials. He died a while
Oh,
ago.
I know. I see his
Billy
face in my
Mays.
brain.
Yeah, Billy Mays.
The
Billy
freaking,
Mays.
the,
Yeah.
freaking, the coked out, you know, what was it? The product, it's almost like it was cocaine.
Oh,
It's crazy, right?
OxyClean.
OxyClean, yes, the OxyClean, yeah.
All right.
Dude was like,
No,
oh,
so-
that's not badass. And you're like, dude,
both
like,
of
you
us
sniffing
combined
OxyClean?
are one pop culture reference person.
If
all
you
right?
guys
So we
want
got
some
this.
funny content, man, check out Gary's mod, Billy Mays videos. But besides the point, we're off the rails.
Hey, that's user-generated content right there. There we go.
Yeah, there we
It's on
go.
the rails. Yeah.
No, but I mean, Rex, let me ask you, dude. I mean, what like do you think there is a value in having user-generated content in games, and what specifically do you think like how does that benefit players? You know?
The user-generated content is probably the single greatest business decision any of these games can make, like hands down. If you have a world that people are bought into, giving them the ability to expand that world on their own, sure, TTP is a real thing. But like I said, it's probably good press in some capacity. Like more people are like, oh, I didn't know that I could do this in that game. Maybe I should go check out and see what I can build. Because you can then create a forever game. This is a game that, think about Fortnite, right? Instead of having to come up with their own new seasons every, I don't know how often they have their seasons, they can leave it up to creators to create new seasons for them. And that lowers the overall overhead. They can share some of the profits with these players, and more people are invested in the success of Fortnite. So, like, if you can do this across the board, like, think about Dota. Dota was a Warcraft 3 mod. And now it is Dota. like you can't get better user-generated content than that. And like that only happens if you give the players the tools to do things like this. We get some of the best games that are played today because of user-generated content.
Mhm.
It is building the rails for other people to do what they want to do is like it's again, it's the best. The fact that Fortnite came out with their creative tools is like the smartest business decision that I mean, granted, clearly they've made a lot of smart business decisions. I haven't studied them or anything like that, but that's like a really good one. Then they should continue to make really smart business decisions like that because it's clearly going to pay off.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, shoot, Fortnite of any of like the different games that seem to claim that they're a metaverse,
Yeah.
Fortnite doesn't even claim that, and I'd say they're the closest that we've
Mm.
seen yet. You know?
Yeah.
So I think you're right there. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know, incredibly smart business decision. You know, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Like I've seen some Fortnite creatives. They're making like top-down shooters. They're making
Yeah,
like
there's
endless
lots of
waves.
great stuff.
Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
crazy.
it's
I mean, they made
crazy.
a whole coding language to go with the new, like their own coding language.
Right. I mean, well,
programming
that's
language.
not as big of a deal, but like really, yeah, just seeing what people can do. I mean, I did a whole video of like my top 10 that I really loved, and I mean, I think the variety is so crazy in there. Yeah, it's just you know, I think I agree with you, Rex. I mean, it is the business decision when you talk about like what you should be doing as a game here that is developing a game now. If you don't incorporate UGC in some sort of large way, and then also incorporate NFTs and Web3 tech and AI, you don't get those three things in like true AI, then you are not going to make it in the next 5 years as a game.
I interviewed Boomer from Life Force Games last week or the week before, and they are building a platform that's like it's no code drag and drop game building, but they're building this like tower defense and this third person shooter, but it does incorporate NFTs and user generated content. That's like the whole thing. So they're building these kind of 2 test case ones,
Cool, yeah.
and I think that's like it's a very smart play because you can literally create your own games within this framework without having to code. Hopefully they get the user base that Fortnite has maybe one of these days, but like that is huge. I think that could be a really big push in the right direction, because I think people like when you tell them like number go up, like come play our game, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like if you're like, hey, like come play our game, like you can build this really cool thing, or you could play something that your friend built, and then he can like send the hardest bosses at you possible, and then like you have a really hard time, but you beat him, so you rub it in his face the next day and tell him he's a nutsack, right? Like that's a compelling case of why people play games, and that I don't know. So these kinds
Well,
of
we
things
already
are
have that.
really
I mean,
cool.
we have that with Roblox. Roblox is literally
Yeah.
that. I mean, we see that happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we talk about Web3, you know, the sandbox is kind of doing that on the Web3 side, you know? You're
Yeah.
going to do that, build your own experiences. Hey, you know, go play my stuff. I'm working on a secret agent stash game right now. You guys will be able to jump in there and, like, literally go play and be an agent with me
this
and
in
Adom and Riz.
in the
And, like, you'll
sandbox.
see other creators in there. And, like,
sandbox.
you know, so I think
Season
that
4.
that is huge. It's a huge part of the future of
Alright.
gaming.
Just keep your eyes and ears
Just make sure to
open.
get me a digital Gucci handbag is the only thing. That way my wife will think all of this is worth it.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Yeah, sell her on that one, buddy.
yeah. You will get a Gucci bag in the metaverse.
in the metaverse. In the metaverse.
Oh,
yeah,
no, don't
that's
do
the
it.
That's gonna be the last line of the papers on your divorce.
Yeah.
So like the divorce papers, like blah blah, and the last thing he said to me was, and that started the whole thing.
No, that's the new marketing ploy for all companies.
know.
It's just like you're
That.
getting it's like sweepstakes or giveaways for things to get you to like invested in their product or service.
Yeah.
And then there's a little asterisk next to the product offering. That's the super
In
fine
the
print at the
metaverse.
bottom that says in the metaverse. Yeah, not a real, not physical.
Yeah.
No, but Yellow Panther, we haven't heard from you yet, man. I mean, what's your opinion on user-generated content in games, and do you think that Web3 games are in a position to like lean into it even further with how like with the incorporation of NFTs and blockchain tech? How do you see those things working together?
I think let me start with Zelda first, because I think it's not because that obviously their intention wasn't UGC at the start.
Mhm.
It's just in the game it allows players to build stuff that can help you to get to destination A to destination B, or you can do some kind of way to kill the bosses or like the monsters. So the UGC tools in Zelda is very limited, and that's why you can see stuff like very 2D, right? Like a Trojan horse. You can do stuff with
People getting
wheels and stuff.
creative.
Yeah, but then like if you see the thumbnail that you guys put, it's very 2D. It's just like a flat wood, right? It's not like 3D and stuff like that.
It's like a flat
It's
wood.
like-
Sorry.
Oh no! It is a full 3D wood. I'm telling you, like that is a full 3D
I will
wood.
verify. Yeah.
Dude, no, I think it's like mid. Like it's mid. The UGC for Zelda, it's mid, right?
It has to be.
I
Yeah.
played it. I put
Yeah.
a decent amount. It's like mid, but like comparing it to Fortnite, comparing it to Roblox is crazy recently. That
Yeah.
some of these content that's coming out from Roblox, I just never would have thought what the hell, that's Roblox. What happened? I thought it was a kid-friendly game, but without it wouldn't grow. Right now, the recent stat, they actually grew their demographics out of the gap of 13 years old to maybe 16 years old. Right now, it's slowly increasing. So these are good stuff that is already proven. But in terms of Web3, besides Sandbox and Decentraland, I haven't seen much UGC implemented to Web3 games because why? Number one, they always say, "Oh, we are so early." Number two, people wouldn't dare to put in UGC elements so early because we discussed earlier that we do not have as much user or gamers at the moment, so that's another thing. So without all these users and gamers, there's not enough content pushing out. And if they are making such important business decisions, it might affect their games. It might backstab them or like have a backlash towards this decision. So I think recently the one that came out, because we are like pretty much in Treasure DAO and stuff like that. This new game, Life by Life Force Games, it's actually pretty interesting. I actually just played it yesterday, but I'm not sure how will I be able to. Are these like all the stuff that I built? Are they all NFTs or are they, given to me? So these are the stuff that I have to be clear of. like when the game actually starts, when
Yeah.
the implementation of NFTs actually comes in. But we're so
Yeah,
early.
that comes in down
So
the road for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
so
the way that
so
they're
many
doing it is
discussions.
once you can build it up, like there's going to be creative tools that come out like 2 or 3 months down the road, and when that happens, you can like build like if you complete this course, you can mint like this special pink hat or a super sneaky mustache or whatever the case may be, and like people can then mint it for completing certain goals within your thing, which I think is kind of
Super
cool.
sneaky mustache. They
Secret agent
they had
stash.
stash. Yeah, they had stash in
Yeah.
mind for that one.
I know.
That's
I know.
yeah, that
If
needs
you're
to
a
be in every
Web3
game.
game out there, yeah, if you're a Web3 game out there and you don't have a mustache in your game, get on it right now, guys. Get on it right
I know.
now.
What are you even doing? Yeah.
I mean, not just for us, but for everyone. Who doesn't love a mustache?
Well,
you can put on your character.
I like what Yellow Panther was saying. I just want to comment on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
About the UGC and Zelda like being trash. So
Oh no,
there's
no,
this-
whoa, whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa.
Hold on, listen,
Hot
listen.
take happened.
He said mid. Okay, he didn't say trash. He said it's mid. That's pretty much the same thing, guys. Right?
In
Okay,
other
look.
words, basically.
So.
Yeah.
But there's a dividing line here, right? So when you look at like what games can get away with and what they can't, a single player experience like Tears of the Kingdom can get away with quite a bit actually in UGC because you're not exposing other people to other people's creations. That's the biggest thing, right? That's why it's a huge thing when it comes to an online game or an MMO where you have multiple people playing together. That's where you have to be really careful because that's where lawsuits come up, and that's where a company has to be like, hey, we can't give you too much power to create in these multiplayer online games because that's when it becomes an issue. I don't think we'll really see this being an issue in Zelda. I think like what Rex was saying, it really is just going to push more people to want to go check it out and want to go play and do it themselves versus it being negative in a real massive type of way. So I think when you have those two different types of games, that's what you really have to look at, right? What kind of game is this and what is UGC going to do to help support this game? Because it definitely is different depending on what kind of game you're making. With Zelda, it makes total sense that they could do something like this and let people just, create some crazy things because they're not exposing anybody else to those crazy things. But it won't work in an MMO. We've seen actually some pretty good UGC-based stuff coming from Web3 games. And I really do feel like user-generated content is one of the cornerstones of Web3 gaming. When you talk about like NFTs and transparent development starting right away with the community, not like, oh, we've been building for 5 years and now we're finally opening up. I think UGC is going to be one of those defining cornerstones of Web3 because once again, I do think that the blockchain technology and tools that we can insert into UGC can really help managing that, right? Being able to see like, hey, if this is an MMO, who made this thing? And you can tie it back specifically to the person that made it because it's keeping track of things on chain for some sort of reason, right?
If it's a penis, banned.
Right. I mean, and it could be right. So I think there is some room there. But I mean, we're seeing great UGCs that are going to be on the horizon. Shrapnel's bringing in a huge UGC. We know Dead Drop is bringing that in as well. They're going to the next snapshot. They're going to let people start creating maps and things. And then we've seen this for a couple other games. It is never the first feature they put out. You want to have a stable game first. Yeah. It would make sense to do it. Like you said, you don't have the people. No one's playing it. Why would you have UGC right at the beginning? But I think Zelda did right. I think they did just enough. I think they gave just enough freedom for people to really be creative and to be funny and to be crazy and to make these crazy good videos. I want to see more games doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but Zelda also
you
spent
guys.
how many decades building their brand first before they even introduced UGC? So like that's also something I think games need to think about is like putting those pieces into place for people to want to build and create penises in your game. Like the reason that it's doing that one image for Zelda is doing so well is because they've had 30 years, 40 years,
decades,
like,
plural, which is more than like any game, almost any Web3 game,
of like
and
the most
almost too much
PG
time.
game. Yeah, the most PG game, and that's like the
They've
first
starved
time that
us.
we're seeing a penis in Zelda. Yeah. They've earned it. I feel like at this point.
they earned the TTP at this point. And I think we've seen a bunch of good Web3 UGC too. Like Stash was saying, I mean, if you didn't check out us recreating the GIA logo in Shrapnel, you've got to go check that video out because when I first saw the tools, I was like, there's no way we're gonna be able to do this, and he got it done. He got it done. I got it done.
Nice.
Or he got it done, but. I don't
Let
know
me
why.
just
the
throw a
thing.
curveball here at you,
Oh, go
Rex,
for
just
it.
for fun. Just
Mm.
because, UGC hasn't always mattered, when we talk about going back to the beginning of gaming. Now, the first time I ever played Zelda was on the original Game Boy. It was black and white. It was this gray little box. You put the cartridge in. I'm sure a lot of you know about it. But UGC was possible. I could go to my friends or my cousins and show them that I cut out a little TP in the grass and show it to them on my Game Boy, right? But there wasn't the online aspect making it necessary to share that content, right?
Right.
So they had that broken on day one, technically, but obviously
Yeah.
minimal tools. Now we're at a point where we have all these amazing tools. And yeah, there are a lot of Web3 games that are doing it like really well. And they've been doing so for a couple of years, like Stash mentioned, I'd even throw Blancos out there or EVIO, like games that give you the
Blancos,
map building aspect. That's
Yeah.
already the beginning, right?
I
So
forgot
at least we
Blancos,
know
man.
the
That's
tools
a
are
great
there.
call, man. Damn it. I
That is a
forgot that
great-
one, man. They do a great job.
There's
You really can
there's
create
also a
lot.
really cool thing that I think will happen more and more. Like everyone is always like, interoperability is so difficult, and like that's only difficult because a lot of the rails haven't been built, I feel like, today. But since NFTs are a call to a server somewhere, right? You prove that this person owns that call to the server, but it is like a server. Think about how many different 3D renderings of Bored Ape Yacht Club people are out there, right? Each Bored Ape has like a million different Unreal Engine, Unity, like insert engine built here. And so I think in the future, user generated content will be really, really cool because it won't just be like, hey, come play in my world. It'll also be like, hey, I built my avatar. Mini Royale Nations is doing this, right? You can bring your own avatars into their game and you can feel like you're a part of your game there. You can feel like you're a part of a game somewhere else. And that is another thing that's really, I think user generated content is really unlocked by all of this Web3 element aspect to it. So I think that's really cool. I was talking to a brand that they're building this game Mosh Pit. And what they're doing is building these like really, really cool Unreal Engine 5 avatars for people. And the idea being that any Unreal Engine 5 game, you should be able to port over the avatar into. And so then it just starts to unlock like the ability, like any game you go into, like Stash will show up with a Stash without like them like the devs inside the team needing to build out this special Paradise Tycoon Stash character.
Shout out
they can
Paradise
just-
You would
Tycoon.
just
I
use your
know.
initial NFT
That
was
and
epic.
integrate it in
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
That
So like you just
yeah.
you just show up with yourself, and that's when around the metaverse, you literally are going around the metaverse as yourself or whatever you purport to be yourself. So it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I think the future for Web3 games and UGC is a bright one. I mean, all games, even and Web3 games, all games, it's all going to be the same thing in probably the next 10 years anyway. So I think we have a bright future for UGC, and I think Web3 games are probably going to face some of the same challenges, if not more, with TTP than the ones we see today. But let's move on to our last topic here. We're going to be doing a quick new feature on the show, the lightning round of Around the Metaverse, where we're going to be asking you guys a quick quip. You're going to answer in one quick sentence what the 2 most memorable video games you played as a kid are. The most nostalgic game that you can remember staying up until 4 a.m. playing, 5 a.m. playing, sleeping for 9, during the summer, sleeping for 9 hours, waking up at 4 p.m, and then doing it all again, right? Playing another 12 hours till the next morning. We're gonna go Stash, Yellow Panther, Rex, and then no ACL. Stash, you're up first, man. 2 most memorable games that you played as a kid.
I'm gonna go with Pong and then Ultima Online, defining all the way.
Pong and Ultima Online.
Are you going to give any reasons, or
No,
do we
no,
just
no,
like
lightning
flat
round.
out-
Let's
Lightning
go.
round,
lightning
baby.
round.
Yellow Panther,
Yeah.
you're up. 2 most memorable games as a kid. What are they?
RuneScape and Metal Slug Gears.
Yo, that's fire, man. That is a low key pick right there, man. That's underrated as hell. Rex, man, you're up next. What are the 2 most memorable video games you played as a kid?
It would be Dota, but as a Warcraft 3 mod, need to specify, and then Harvest Moon 64.
Also a banger, dude. Also a banger. Holy shit, man. The nostalgia is flowing right now.
I know.
And then last but certainly not least, man, no ACLs. 2 most memorable video games as a kid. What you got?
All right, I'm gonna go with an oldie classic. I love NES Super Mario. Couldn't get enough of
Okay.
that, to be honest.
Mm.
That included Duck Hunt, and then speed forward a bit. Let's see. It's a tough question, man. I'm gonna say GoldenEye, Nintendo 64. I had a lot of fun with that
Fire.
one too.
Legit.
Yeah.
Legit.
Renowned classic. And we're not done yet, guys. All you guys in chat, drop your 2 favorite games that you played as a
Excite
kid.
Bike and Contra is one I'm seeing right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
Captain,
one.
our
Great
senior
games.
agent Captain Jackson and
Contra.
community manager coming with
Too
the
many
fire.
games.
That
Go
I
ahead,
feel
man.
like Contra, those types of side scroller games, the classic ones, are hard as shit.
Yeah.
And they were like the original sweaty games, right? Because
Oh,
you
yeah.
only had 3 lives before you had to start over. Like that
That's
was
it,
like
dude.
Shout
Yeah,
out
and your
about-
quarter's
talk
gone.
about-
So
I
you get
know.
rugged on your quarter. That's it. You know, people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my stuff."
You're losing your
Everyone cries about
NFT.
they losing their shit these days,
Shout
and I'm
out
just like, man, I was
Castlevania.
born and bred in the time
Castlevania.
of losing your shit.
too.
Let's go.
And then I guess I'll drop mine too. I think I guess my 2 most memorable games from a kid are Halo 3. These are the 2 the games that when I first bought my Xbox 360. These are the games I bought with it. That was my first. Well, actually, GameCube is my first console. But Halo 3 and Elder Scrolls Oblivion, two most memorable games from my childhood. And then no ACLs,
Young
Ben.
ass
We got a
mofo.
request from the chat. If you don't have to oblige if you don't want, but they want to see the hair.
Braids.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not
No,
doing that
see,
today. I
you
can't enter
guys aren't.
raps.
You guys
No.
aren't. Yeah, you're not getting it today, chat. I asked for you, but but no worries, no ACL, no worries ACL,
Sorry to disappoint,
no
guys.
ACL. But that is all we have tonight for you guys. We are running out of time here. Rex, Yellow Panther, no ACL. Thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. It's been great to have you here on Around the Metaverse. You guys are welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
You guys out there watching, thank you for sticking around with us this long. If you're still here, go make sure to hop in the description and check out each of these guys' channels, and go ahead and must spread the mustache love to them. Like and subscribe. You know the drill. And then if you're not already in our Discord, make sure to hop in there as well and chat with us after the show. But that's
I have
all we have
one last
tonight, folks.
request.
Oh,
I have
what's up,
one
Rex?
last request to all the people out there. I am dropping a really ridiculously stupid piece of content later tonight for Illuvium. And one of the call outs that I need everyone to do, and this is, I will start tagging everyone everywhere and hitting them up on all the messages, but I want to flood Kieran Warwick's timeline with "We're not your Oompa Loompas Wonka." It'll make a lot more sense later when the piece of content drops, but I'm just warning everyone now that I will be calling upon you to do this to Kieran, okay? So everyone, just get your
I'm always
Rex
down to troll
Twitter
Kieran. Let's
fingers
go.
Rex
ready.
is issuing a
I'm
quest,
always down to
everyone.
troll.
He's
I know, this
issuing
is
a
a
quest
quest.
to us all.
New quest.
Yeah. Here it is. I'll let you all know when it drops.
But yeah, that's all we have tonight, folks. Make sure you come and make sure you check us out for another episode next week, next Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But that's it tonight, folks. We out.
Go it.
Boom.